Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know what time it is as you're watching this video. My name is Rick van Bastelaar. And in this video I'd like to give you some more background information how we came about being able to help people overcome trichotillomania, the urge for pulling out your hair. As a team of treatment for trichotillomania. We're located in various countries now where we can offer personal support, but we also have a self-help program that you can follow from any place in the world where you have access to the internet, and that is backed up with support if needed from one of our coaches. So, like I said, my name is Rick van Bastelaar. Now, how did I, because I initiated this, came about helping people who suffer from trichotillomania? Now, if you would have told me this 20 years ago, I would have questioned whether that was possible, that I in the future would start helping people with this behavior. First of all, because I'd never heard of the whole behavior itself 20 years ago. But secondly, I wouldn't have a clue how to help people. Now, what happened in my past is that I became curious how we can improve. And at the end of the day, the only way we can improve is by better actions. It's not by sitting under a tree that something will happen, but it's you, me, anybody who has to do certain things. And for that you need skills. For example, like driving a car. But sometimes we have the skills and we hold ourselves back. I think a very simple example is someone who is giving a presentation to a public and freezes inside. He knows or she knows how to do the presentation, but if you freeze inside, you can't, get access to the skills that you need. So when I immersed myself, I started to attend a lot of trainings around the world from great people. And the more I did, the more I discovered that 95% of everything you and I do, all humans, is unconscious. I mean, we don't consciously think about it, like the blinking of my eyes. I'm sure I've done it, plenty of times already since this recording started, and so have you. And it's only when we pay attention to it that we become consciously aware. The same is true for building up the urge for pulling out your hair. I mean, you don't do that consciously, it kind of happens, but when that urge is strong enough, you will pull today whether you like it or not. And it doesn't really matter how many times you keep telling yourself to stop, because that's not the way to do it. Now, so what happened is, because I live in the Netherlands, I had helped quite some people to take better care of their own unconscious behavior. And then one day a lady, her name is Stephanie, knocked on my door, and she's on the video of the website as well, and she asked, can you help me? And in all honesty, I first of all had to discover what the behavior was all about, and secondly, I had to investigate and commit to being able to help the person, because my initial thought was, I think I can, but I'm not really sure, I've never done it. What happened is I prepared myself for, I think, 10 days, and I blocked my calendar, and I came up with a plan that I thought would be real wonderful, but I didn't know whether it would, deliver on its promise. And I still remember the day when she showed up. I went outside for a little walk, and in my heart, I looked to the sky and I said, I've done everything I can, if it's not good enough, it's not good enough, but I hope it will. And so I let it go. And then she came, and it was actually a very enjoyable day, as far as I'm concerned, as far as she's concerned as well. And what happened is that we just went for it, and I did what I prepared with her, and she had to do a lot of exercises both while we worked together, and afterwards she had to do some assignments on a daily basis in order to help her to recondition that unconscious behavior, those reflexes, for example, of hands coming to your head or wherever you pull. Now, it was only 5 hours that I worked with her, and then she went home. She had to do additional assignments. But then my mother was the first person to ask, how is this possible? She had pulled for 9 years. Said, how is it possible that, after seeing her once, she stops pulling? And I said, well, Mom, that's a very simple answer, because my mother, like most people, try to understand this consciously, and it's nothing to do it has nothing to do, the overcoming of the urge, of conscious insights, like an aha moment. Now, it's got to do by you doing certain things, by breaking that pattern through exercises, assignments, that you start to change those unconditioned or those unconscious behavioral patterns. I said, Mom, she didn't you know, need 9 years in order to start doing it. She suddenly did it, and then it became a pattern, and she kept doing it and kept doing it, and we broke the pattern. And it's a good thing to break the pattern, because it helped her to move towards freedom, to be able to have choice. It's not that she can't do it, but she doesn't have to anymore. This is all what it's about. Freedom in behavior, as far as I'm concerned. Now, what happened is more people started to ask for support who heard this, and a lot of people said, well, I have tried so many things, will this help? And I didn't know. And sometimes they said, well, I've been to people who had the same kind of trainings as you did. And then when they came along and we narrowed it down, what I thought they had done was something completely different. So I thought, how can I help these people? This was still in the Netherlands. And I thought, well, if I come up with a satisfaction guarantee, I take the concern away, and then they can experience it for themselves, how this works, and then, you know, they pay for the end result. So then many more people came. And what also happened is I started to discover some patterns that I couldn't deny anymore. First of all, the biggest majority of the people I saw were women. But one of the things that I noticed is, and I have to be upfront about this, because if I tell this in a group, 70% will instantly say, yeah, that's true, of those who pull out hair, and 30% will say, well, it's a little different for me, but let me finish this and then you will see that it will work for everybody. I started to notice that when stress or feelings of tension got up, you know, became more strong, more intense, for example, during examination periods, that the people who suffered from trichotillomania started to pull more. So stress or tension went up and the behavior became more intense. I've also worked with people that said, this is not true for me, Rick. I'm completely relaxed. I'm sitting in the bank, in the couch, watching TV, and then I start to pull. That is only a delayed response. It's like, you know, you build up that tension, and then when you relax, subconsciously or from your unconscious, you get a signal, and then you start pulling, and you don't really get it. I've also worked with people that were so in a kind of trance that they didn't notice that they were pulling while they did it. They only saw the result afterwards, when they looked down and saw the hairs laying on the ground. So I had to do, you know, special things with these kind of people, and it wasn't always easy. Sometimes it was a real challenge, but as I started to help more people, I grew, and I actually created an approach together with the people that I helped that had a lot to do with what I was trained in around unconscious behavior. So through some great teachers like Richard Bandler, Russell Potts in the United Kingdom, Julie Silverton, and many more. And I started to use those skills, but I also started to use common sense with the patterns that I started to discover. For example, that when stress or tension went up, the behavior became more intense. So over the years, I've developed and fine-tuned an approach together with the customers that I know that is now very rock solid. And when you follow the approach, you will discover for yourself, this is how we offer it, that it will work. And we do that now in an online program that is, like I said, backed up with personal support if needed. That's only to take away any concerns of people who say, well, will online work? Well, you discover for yourself, because it's with videos that will set you up on audio recordings and backed up with documentation. So why have I done this? Because in that process something happened with me that I really committed myself and wanted to reach out to anybody in the world who suffers from this behavior. And the end result is that we are now based in various countries and have a wonderful approach. We're all trained in the same approach that we can offer to you either one-on-one or remotely. So it's actually very convenient. Now, the reason why I committed myself is because as I went along, I discovered that this behavior is really shitty in terms of quality of life. I mean, let's be honest, no one wants this, but you're kind of at the mercy of the behavior, because you can tell yourself for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, these are the time spans, 40 years that I've worked with people who suffered from it, consciously to stop, but they will not do it. And when the urge comes up, you keep pulling. And sometimes there's a delay of, you know, a couple of years. I've worked with people that said I did it between the age of 10 and 15, then it stopped, and then at 23 it continued for another 20 years. So you're kind of in limbo land because you haven't learned how to do this. We don't learn this in school and in society. This is the big question. How do you stop pulling? Well, it's not by talking. You know, I give a lot of explanation right now, but it's by you doing things that will break that pattern subconsciously for a good thing, to start pulling and to create freedom. So I discovered that the behavior is really shitty. But I also discovered that, as far as I'm concerned, now I haven't looked at everything, so I can't, say this for truth, but this is my opinion, that there isn't really great help outside in the whole world for this kind of behavior. I mean, there are kind of two opinions on the internet. One group of people will say you can overcome this, and the others say you can't. Now, if I would be suffering from this behavior and I go onto the internet, which I think we all do nowadays, and I've tried a lot of things and it didn't work, who should I believe, right? And then you can become skeptical. So I thought, well, this is really shitty, because it doesn't have to be like this. Because I knew through experience that you can overcome this and that the approach really works. So that is why we always work with that satisfaction guarantee in the program. So everybody has 30 days in order to go through the program. That's plenty of enough time with the modules that we've created. And then you can discover for yourself how this works. Now, so I hope this gives a little bit more of an explanation for what I think is a unique approach that really works well. You will see it in the video testimonials that we have available on our website, both in the front end that everybody can see, but also in the free membership area, where some brave women spoke up, as and confessed, this is what I suffered from, but you can overcome it. I asked them, and they did that voluntarily, if they were willing to share that and to share their insights, because I've seen a movie one day that was about the concept to pay it forward, and I think if we do something wonderful for another person, that can become a real inspirational, ignition to show others the way, and if we all start doing that, the world will change for the better with regards to this behavior for you in your life, I hope, as well. Now, that's a little bit more background information where it all came from. It's as a surprise for me as it is for my environment, who ask me, what do you do and how does this work? A lot of people think the behavior is strange, but I want you to know, and then I will finish it off, that as far as I'm concerned and the whole team, you're absolutely fantastic. You're completely normal. There are plenty of forms of behavior in society, like for example compulsive drinking, that we consider to be normal, and the same is true for trichotillomania. But at the end of the day, it's something that you can be at the mercy of for a long period of time, and you don't really have to. So that's all for now. I look forward to see you in any future videos that I will shoot, because I'm in the process of writing a series of blog posts to give you more information and insight that will help you, hopefully, to move forward and free yourself too. Bye for now, and enjoy your day.